Whenever you rent or buy a video, you need to be sure that the film you choose is suitable for the audience at home. To help you, there are certificates given to films which tell you broadly what the film is like. This film has been classified 18, which means it's for adults only. It's an offence for your shop to supply an 18 video to anyone under that age, so don't ask them to break the law. An 18 film will certainly have an adult theme and might well contain strong scenes of sex or violence, which could be quite graphic. It may also contain some very explicit language, which will frequently mean sexual swear words. The video certificates are there to give you the chance to make an informed choice. They allow you to have peace of mind and be entertained. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the film.
All right. Primo, hi.
Hi.
Thank you for taking the time to chat with me. Thought we'd do just a bit of a conversation and go through your new release. Oh, is she still there?
I'm excited about it. I'm here. You can't hear me?
I can hear you. There was a slight delay. Yeah, so
damn it.
That's
Freaking
okay.
Internet, man.
We'll figure it out. I'll edit it through.
I've vented about my internet at length online. It's AT&T, and I want to disparage their company, and I want them to go bankrupt.
Fingers crossed then.
That's how I'm going to start this interview.
That's cool. Well, let's just get it out there now. I think that's really important. You know, let's just lay it all on the table. So, yeah, the double EP release, and I guess I'll call it double EP release because I'm really keen to talk about Rock Professor as well as Heart on the Run. But before we get to there, you know, I was thinking quite a lot of people sort of know already a bit about your musical background, but I was keen just to understand how Primo the Alien came into existence in the first place.
It's funny. Last night I was driving around. I was driving with my husband in the car, and he said something about, oh, and that's the Walgreens. But we were in that Walgreens parking lot when you said you were going to do this thing called Primo. And I was like, really? Like, I have the worst memory. People have to inform me about my own life all the time. Like, people are always like, yeah, you don't remember when you did this thing? I'm like, no idea. It's all a mystery to me. I don't know what I say and do 99% of the time. But yeah, I guess that's what I said it then. I just started, I had worked with, I went to school for music production, like sound engineering, studio engineering. And I didn't really expect to do any of that myself. It was more of like, I just want to know what's going on in a studio environment as an artist. I thought more of like with other producers in a studio environment, I'd know, what a patch bay is and all that kind of stuff. And then I had worked with some producers that ended up being like super shady and shitty. And that's when I was like, fuck this. I could just do this on my own. And I started making beats thinking it would just be for fun, kind of like they would never see the light of day. And then I went, maybe this is kind of good. I don't know. And then that's when I put out my first Primo album, which with no preparation or thought. It was really just like, okay, I made these 7 songs. I'm just going to put them on the internet, put them on Spotify and all that stuff, ordered some CDs. And then that was it. And then people liked it. And I was like, oh, I guess this is like a thing, I wish I had thought about it more before I started it. I thought about it more in terms of like how I was going to launch it, instead of just maybe throwing it out there. But I think it's good to get stuff out into the world. I don't like to sit on me. Like usually when I write something, I want to like put it out as soon as I'm done with it. So I can't wait. It's really hard for me to wait on things. So Primo, so all the songs I was writing were just very space oriented. I didn't know what the fuck synthwave was. I'd never heard of it before. And I definitely didn't have a point of like, I didn't hear anything and not like, I didn't hear somebody like, Gunship or something go, oh, I want to make music like that. I didn't know who any of those people were. I just knew I liked 80s like pop divas like Patti LaBelle, Tina Turner, Whitney Houston. I'm a big David Bowie fan. I want to do something like pop diva, but experimental at the same time, and theatrical. Yeah. So, and I'm really inspired by Meatloaf. So I wanted to do like a rock opera, but a pop opera, I guess you could say. And so I didn't know who any of these, I didn't know what genre I was making. I just know I was making stuff that I liked. And I was trying to find people. So once people were kind of liking what I was doing and I started playing live shows, I thought, well, I need to find other people who are doing this kind of thing so I can figure out who to play with or who to I don't know, figure out just what's going on. And I was
Mm-hmm.
just totally lost. And so that's when I started searching like 80s music now, like current 80s music. And then that's when I stumbled upon what's synthwave. And here I am, a few years later.
Would you say, and a bit of a side question, because I wouldn't say that you fit into the genre well, but I wouldn't say that you would be defined as synthwave, particularly
No,
with this most recent one. And so I'm glad that you would agree with that, because I think it would be doing you a bit of a
no.
injustice
Yeah,
just to
yeah.
say
I
that you were
don't,
that.
yeah. I'm not a synthwave artist. I'm part of the scene in that my music is retro at times. And I think I think people like good music. And I know people get really weird about synthwave, the genre, and
Yeah.
what's synthwave? Is it dead? Is it alive? Blah, blah, blah. I just think people like good music. And even if you are a huge synthwave fan, I don't think it's impossible to be a pop fan or a fan of what I'm doing. So I think that's just, because I happen to do some pretty 80s stuff at the beginning, and then the collab with Time Cop, and then collab with other synthwave artists, I became part of the scene, and I just picked up an audience from this genre. But yeah, I definitely wouldn't call myself a synthwave artist. I'm more just like a retro pop or something. I don't know.
No, that works. That's what, and as I say, I'm glad that you think that, because I think it's important that people don't get too. And you're right. Sometimes people can be a bit funny about what is and what
Yeah.
isn't. But you know,
I don't care. I have no cares. And that's the same thing with this, music I'm putting out now. It's like I'm not going to make something retro just to make it retro. Like I'm not
mm-hmm.
going to produce around those kind of parameters. That's the whole reason that I started this project, was that I would have no rules and I could do whatever I wanted, answer to no one. And so I'm definitely not going to just, I need to throw in some 80s ass thing because it's going to make people still like me or happy or whatever. I'm just going to do what serves the song. And in this particular case, the sound is more modern, but there's
Mm-hmm.
definitely like, to synthwave people, it sounds very modern, but to modern, like mainstream pop people, they're always like, this is so retro, including my new stuff.
Right, right.
So I think we get in this like tunnel of like, we don't realize that just a couple little things here and there can sound very retro to a more mainstream audience. So I think
So
it's
we're
still retro.
for sure. I think I think there's a bit later on when we talk about Rock Professor where I was going to sort of link in with that. And it's funny when you talked about Meatloaf and stuff, because there's a real kind of dramatic element
Yeah.
to that EP. But we'll get onto that. But with Heart on the Run, number one, congratulations, because like it's wicked, and obviously there's been some releases that have come out during 2021 that have led up to it. And I was thinking this weekend about it when I was sort of preparing for this. It feels like, to a certain way, that those tracks have been out for quite a while, and although actually they haven't really been out for a while at all. I guess it's just how they kind of sit in the psyche, and that they're just good, as you say, good retro pop tunes.
Thank you.
But from your point of view, like, how long has it taken for those tracks from concept to, say, release? Because you said you're sort of getting stuff out quite quickly, and I think a lot of people are doing that now. But has it felt that you've had them in your head and then out for a long time, or has it felt like it's gone quickly?
For side A, the pop side, those were quick in the sense that the only reason I had to wait was because they were done around a time that's just not great for releasing. And I didn't want to release into the holidays, and I wanted to start like fresh at the new year. So I had to wait a little bit. But they were written over the summer and into the fall and finished around then. So that's to me, for like an album, or like planning and really trying to like the first time really like investing money and trying to market things and all that kind of stuff, and think about a release schedule. Cause I'm a very much like, I wrote it. Okay. I need 4 weeks for Spotify or whatever. Boom. And put it out, cause I like to put out singles and just get them out there. So I did have to wait a little for this. Also, I wanted to do videos and all that kind of stuff. So there was definitely more planning involved. For the Rock Professor side, those I sat on for a long time, because originally Rock Professor was the EP, and I just needed to round it out with a few more songs. And writing a couple, I started realizing that I was evolving, and the songs were there was just too much of a, disparage between the sounds. So that's when I was like, okay, I know what I need to split these into two things separate entities, so that I'm not changing the sound of these Rock Professor songs to work with these songs or vice versa. They can be what they are without, sacrificing what the vision was. But then that's when I was like, oh, this is 2 EPs. Now I need to write more for this one over here.
Right.
Actually, and Rock Professor had already been mixed and mastered. And so I produced that side all on my own. The new 4 pop ones, I brought in a co-producer who was going to mix and master, and then he ended up co-producing the 4 pop songs with me. And then I had him remix and master these. So it was just like a long process. So with Rock Professor and stuff, it'd been like, I think 2 years maybe since I wrote Rock
Wow.
Professor.
Okay.
Yeah, because that one I just was working on for this big EP I was going to put out, and then I just, kept adding and changing, or I'd write a new one that could be a single, and I was like, oh, I'll put this one, or a collab would come about, and things just keep getting pushed back. So that one I waited on for a long time, a really long time.
That must be quite difficult though, but I guess then you've explained why, which I guess is the right reasons to, but
Yeah.
particularly in a time now where it feels like content.
Mm-hmm.
If you're sat on something, it must be really difficult not to just be like, oh, do you know what, this week I could just do, let's try this or try that. So it's for 2 years, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well,
it's that, and also like I think I'm always writing, so it was never like I didn't have, like right now I could put out songs, you know what I mean? There's always a song to put out. So it wasn't like I was like waiting and not putting anything, I think my last single, I'm trying to think when it came out. It was it Fixing Me With Love? I can't remember, in the 2020. My last single was kind of late, and it was maybe in September or something. Oh, maybe it was the one with Griff. I can't remember, but it was like, once I put that one out, we were approaching the holiday season, sort of like Thanksgiving, Christmas. I try to stay away from all that shit. Everybody's so busy doing stuff. So I would have waited anyway. So I think I've pretty much consistently released through the whole year. I haven't like not put anything out. And in fact, since putting this out in June, I'm like already getting like antsy because I don't have like anything scheduled, I'm working on the new album, and then I have a few collabs that I'm finishing up, and I'm like, okay, I need to get this shit done because I need to have a song out, this summer for sure, at least. So,
cool.
Just always be working.
So because you mentioned the music videos, and I guess certainly it sounds as if, I guess if we start with Thunder, because that was Dorothy Bennett that worked with you on that one. How did you? So it's a really impressive, number one, and I don't know whether you have like a dance background or whether you just got up and then the choreographer was just like, do your thing and we'll get it. So like, how did it come about? Like, do you know Dorothy from before? Is she kind of a friend or what?
So Dorothy was the director. Yeah, she was like fully pregnant when we shot. She gave birth like a few weeks later. It's crazy. Wow. How impressive she is. She's also an animator, so she did all the animation stuff behind me. Like, it wasn't like stock stuff. She like made all that stuff. The choreographer is one of my best friends here in Austin, who's also a musician, and she goes by Lady Heartwing. I have no dance background, zero, other than I dance on stage every time I play, and just do what I do. She's obviously like a fan of my music and has been to my shows and knows how I move, and then used that to create the choreography. A lot of it was outside of my comfort zone. We had made adjustments to work for me. And I was terrified. Like, I was so terrified to do that video. I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I was like more nervous about doing that than any show I've ever played or anything. It was really? I couldn't sleep the night before. Yeah, I was like, I'm going to get up there and embarrass myself, because I've always been this way since I was a little kid. I don't like to do things I'm not good at. Like, I'm a very competitive person, and I'm very competitive with myself. And I always want to like prove to myself that I can do something. I always want to be the best at everything that I do. And, I mean, I'm not competitive in an unhealthy way. Like, I'm happy when people do well, and I'm like rooting for my friends and stuff. I just mean, like, if I do something, I want to be good at it. I don't want to just half-ass it. And so I know I'm not a dancer like that. So I was very scared. But you get a lot of takes, and it's, the editing and all that stuff. But I was really proud of myself. I feel like it came across really well. So
yeah. And I think you're right. And sometimes you just got to put your trust in the skills of people who know better, right? You know, choreographers know what they're doing, and directors, particularly if they seem like they're heavily pregnant, who can pull it off like that. I guess it's just a case of, like you say, just getting up, having a coffee and going, and just hoping it goes well.
Waiting on rain in a desert without your touch. Kiss me again, oh, take me into your darkness. I can hear the rumble, I can feel the danger when you hold me like that. Sky is getting darker, I know I'm in trouble, but I want it, baby. You know how to shake me, you know how to make me lose control of myself. A storm is rolling in, love me like thunder, right back to my core. Hit me like a lightning, I'm powerless and powerful. Love me like thunder, 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 love me like thunder. Caught in your wind, I let you rush me into the chaos, blinking my skin, oh, like clouds across the horizon. If we move me closer, it could be disaster, but it's all that I want. Hold me to the fire, I can take the pressure. No, it's never too much. You know how to tell me, you know how to send me to the edge of my heart. Hit me with your best shot, and love me like thunder, right back to my core. Hit me like a lightning, I'm powerless and powerful. Love me like thunder, 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 love me like thunder. Love me like thunder, right back to my core. Hit me like a lightning, I'm powerless and powerful. When you love me like
But then the Do It Again video is completely different, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I'm used to the whole do it yourself thing. I'm a DIY artist. This is like the first release I've done where I've really like invested some money. So it's been lovely, actually. I go to the video to do that video, and I'm like, okay, well, what do I need to bring for y'all? Like, do I need to bring food and drinks and da-da-da? And they're like, no, you paid, that's all included in this. Like, I didn't have to do all these extra things that I'm used to doing, like lugging shit around and renting lights or renting cameras, or, I didn't have to do any of that. It was crazy. And the same thing with these newer songs with the side A of my double EP, having a production partner, so it was like, I could maybe come up with, okay, this is the kind of art I'm doing, and this is like the drum pattern, this is the vibe, whatever. And then someone else can sit and scroll and tap on every snare sound, imaginable. Someone who's better at picking snare sounds than I am. I don't care about that shit. Like, people don't understand. My first EP was all stock sounds and Logic. I
Right.
did not use samples. I did not use any extra synths. I just used whatever came with Logic and just made a thing. And I did not picking out kicks or snares at all. I was like, that sounds fine. Boom. I just, that's not what I care about. I care more about the song itself. And so it was so nice to be able to focus on that aspect more. I mean, I still produced, obviously, and I think I enjoy more of like the arrangement and the like, okay, this is where this ARP should go. And these are the notes that should happen.
Mhm.
And, oh, a pad needs to come in here. And, oh, let's do this sort of a bass line. But I'd rather not pick out those like final sounds. I'd rather not make sure they're sitting well in the mix. It gets to be a lot. So it was so nice having partners and help and like a collaborative effort, or like a true collaborative effort. So yeah, Do It Again was more of a me thing, but in a way a collaborative effort, in that I like asked all my friends and family to send me video clips of us, through the years. And God, making that was so emotional. Like, I didn't expect it to be at all. I was like, oh, this will be cute. I'll just do videos from my life. And then I was crying like the whole time, like, because it's just, to me, I mean, not to say it's so beautiful what I made. What's so beautiful is just a human life. And I've said this before, just what it means to be human and the interactions we have. And especially during COVID, like, I am who I am because of all of those people. And, I've touched those people, they've touched me, and we're so interconnected in this like beautiful way. So, that was what made me really emotional about it. Was just like, wow. And, I thought about all that, like all the people we've lost over the last year and stuff. Those were people who had that same story, who had those connections with people and had people who loved them and had these fun experiences in this wonderful life. And so, man, I'm gonna make myself cry right now. I make myself cry a lot. So
I think it was nice though, because I was looking at some of the comments on YouTube about it, and everyone's basically agreeing with you in the sense of it's just a beautiful song, beautiful images that go with it. It just fits really, really well. I think what was nice is that it's so different from what you did with Thunder. It was that much more sort of personal piece, but then also the way that you were speaking about the kind of preparation that you needed to do for Thunder as well. It's all very personal and kind of, there's a lot of you kind of in it, which I guess is really good, rather than just getting someone to make any old video based on something that's not without your input,
Yeah. I try to make, well, the songs are so important to me. I don't like filler songs, and I don't like putting something out just for the sake of it. I have to really love it and believe in it. And I don't know. I want to give that's why I really care about, that's why I really like a single oriented release situation, because I want to give every song the attention it deserves and the attention I just believe in each one. So I just want to give each song that attention. And it was nice to be able to do that with those three and give them their moment. And even, with Hard on the Run, a final single that completed the collection. So they each had their little moment. And I wanted to make sure that everything around it, the artwork, the video, the promotion, whatever was worthy of the song,
Yeah.
Laura, I love her. Tell Laura I need her. Tell Laura not to cry. My love for her will never die.
Mommy,
What?
I want it up. I want up, Mommy.
What do you want, a hug?
Yeah.
You needed a hug after that song? Oh, come on. Come on. Oh. Are you always my girl?
I try to run away from your memory, but I just can't do it. I end up right back where I met you, baby. I play it all in my head. Were we wrong? How did we end
So the vinyl's here. Well, it's up. The pre-order is available.
Yeah.
So obviously it's not your first time in terms of your voice being on a record, because obviously you've been on other ones, on compilations and other people's stuff. But am I right in thinking this is your first sort of collection that's come together on a record for you?
Yeah, and I actually did just finally get that. It took forever to get to me. I mean, I got it like a couple months ago, the
The Time Slave one,
compilation.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the
Because
one.
I didn't know I was on that, but it's nice to have it and hear my voice on vinyl. Yeah, this is the first time, because I think that was the only other time I've been on vinyl. Well, I guess, well, with other artists, with Griff
Yeah,
but I don't
yeah.
have those. I don't have a copy of those, so I haven't heard it.
Okay.
So yeah, this is like my big deal. And it's scary because I did it on my own. I didn't have a label to like front the money or anything. I invested
Mhm.
my own personal money in it, which was very scary because people are like, "Oh, when are you gonna have vinyl? I want vinyl," but they say that about a lot of things.
They
And then
do.
you put it out, and then no one buys it, and you're like, "Y'all motherfucker said you wanted this. And why is no one buying this?" So I thought, please don't do this to me. Do not, please do not have me have all these vinyl and no one buys it. But I'm happy to report that today my vinyl is all paid off from all the sales. So
Amazing.
I've at least broke even on it. So that's wonderful.
Well,
That's all I could hope for.
but for the first time round as well, that's
Yeah.
that's the well, it's not the best you can ask for, but it's what you need, right?
Yeah, yeah.
For the
That's
first
what I
time
need.
round. So
I'll
it's
definitely make money. No, this is like I'm holding back some copies for local shows and for local record shops.
yep.
And I've made money. So I've made money. I've paid off my credit card, and it was I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad everyone was so supportive. And I mean, some people bought multiple copies. How
People
sweet is
do,
that?
and there's also people that don't play them either. They just like to have
Mhm.
and like to look at them. So that's all good as far
I
as
love that. And this is
yeah,
a
right?
beautiful, the cover art is beautiful. It was
Amazing.
shot by a guy here named Jackson Montgomery Schwartz, who is just an amazing photographer. And the colors are really pretty. It's just very vibrant, and it's a gatefold, so it opens up to this big, beautiful photo. And I'm just really proud of how it turned out. So
I think so. I'm a vinyl collector myself. In that I've calmed down a bit over the years, but some of them are crazy and buy everything. But I think things like gatefolds, things like
Mhm.
kind of the small attention to detail is what I think some of the real heavy collectors
Yeah,
like. And
it costs
and
more.
it does. You're right. And there's so many bigger labels out there who are doing it really cheaply.
Yeah.
And it's a shame when it comes through, you're just like, man, I waited. Number one, I waited
Mhm.
6 months for this. And number
Yeah.
two, it doesn't look that great,
Yeah. So, and this is another great thing is that no one's gonna have to wait, 6 months or
Yeah,
anything. It's a pre-order, but it's already like it's not like I was waiting on the funds to order it. It's ordered.
right.
It's in manufacturing. It'll probably be here next month.
Hmm.
Maybe the next at the latest, but next month I'm probably going to be shipping out vinyl, so people aren't going to have to wait forever. It'll be like they're waiting like a month and a half maybe.
No, it's good. And it shows,
So
because you've done it already, it's that commitment to wanting to do it right. So that's great.
yeah. Yeah, I want to do it right. I want to do everything right. People are pissed. They're like, "Oh, I want CD." I'm not making CDs for any motherfuckers because let me tell you, first of all, no one buys them ever. Like ever at shows, I'm like, okay, here's I have CDs, and everybody's like, "Well, do you have vinyl?" No one ever
Hmm.
wants a CD ever.
No,
I'm done with
no.
CDs, and also I fucking hate CDs. They're always scratched up. They're always like they're too fragile. A
Mm.
cassette, at least you can throw it on the ground. It's fine. Vinyl, very durable. CD, no, I don't like them. I don't want them. I'm done with them.
That has to be a
So
tagline. That has to be a tagline at the bottom for each show, even
yeah,
wherever the stall is. No CDs.
no
Sorry, just
CDs.
go. We're done.
I mean, if I had more funds, I would do it, but it's just not worth the money to me. I'd rather do the vinyl. This was way more fun for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks cool, and you can put it on the wall and all that sort of stuff. You can do whatever you
Put it
want
on
with
the
it.
wall.
Yeah, exactly. So I was thinking the Primo sound. So I read a thing that you wrote about the way you described yourself on
Ooh,
Bandcamp, right? And I don't know whether you wrote this, so tell me if it's untrue or not.
I
But
write it all. No one's
you
helped
did.
me. I have no
So
help.
you wrote space-time travel to an 80s alternate dimension, a dangerously sexy post-apocalyptic wasteland complete with kick-ass parties, flying motorcycles, and lots of glitter, right?
Yes.
So that's Primo in in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, I think my longer bio says the wings of this rainbow Pegasus are Primo's signature powerhouse vocals, which sound like she's hiding a soprano sax in her throat. Yes, I wrote that. I was very proud of that when I wrote it at the time. Although since then, people have been like, you need to actually describe what it is that you're doing, because it's not describing it. And I'm like, yes, it is. It's describing it perfectly to me. My sound, is that the question? Like, what is my sound?
Well, so part of it was going to be, so when I was thinking about this, and I didn't think about flying motorcycles and glitter, but that's very evident there in what you're doing. But and this was partly because of, number one, having heard what you do, but also conversations with people that you've worked with before. I don't have a label for it, but I take the Primo sound as being, it's very well produced, it's tight, it's consistent, and you've got that kind of polishedness to how you work. I know people have said that when they receive stuff from you, it's good to go. Like, you've done a lot of work on it. It's not a case of people having to sort of move things around or change it. So I guess part of the question really was, do you always have that strong level of confidence in your work, or do you have some of those artistic doubts, or does it just flow as a piece? Like when you're doing it, is it always right first time, or does it go through a process?
I write a lot of songs. Like Taylor, the person I started co-producing with for my last few songs, he thinks I'm a lunatic. I send him probably like a couple songs a day, because lately what I've been trying to do is write it and then gauge. Usually I just do it and I'm like, this is it, I know, whatever. But I think sometimes I scrap things way too early, and there's things that I think are not good, and then he's like, no, you need to finish this is so good. And I'm like, okay, it's nice to have kind of that thing. I am very confident in something when I've decided. Like if I write something and I go, yeah, I'm confident, I feel no doubt. I'm like, if someone doesn't like this, they're so stupid. And actually, like responding to, like, when Betamax was talking about, people need to be more critical or whatever. And I responded saying, once I put something out, I don't really care. I mean, people could be critical if they want. Once I've put it out, that means I fucking loved it. Like no one could tell me otherwise. There's nothing anyone could say to me. Once it's out, I know, I'm not, if I'm like, ooh, about it, I don't do it, sort of thing. So I think maybe people, especially maybe people who live in a full length album world, probably feel more, wishy-washy on certain songs, because it's like, it's a lot of songs you got to get, you're putting, 17 songs on something. That's a lot. I just like to try to really focus on the ones that I feel good about. But I do very much strive to sound like a pro. I don't know how much of a pro I am. I'm going to have to do something really unprofessional right now that is totally unpro. Ma'am, she got an entire log.
Oh, really?
I have to take the log away.
Both of us out of minds, work me up, make me wild, dangerous, the way we play with fire. Foolish games, kisses like adrenaline, get me high, it's a rush, the way we cross the
Sorry about that. Good thing I had pants on though.
That's okay. Yeah, right. That's a good shout. Let's say no.
Okay.
That's okay. Logs
Sorry.
need attention. You gotta get it done.
Yeah, she loves sticks, man. It's crazy. She's still 7 months old, so we're dealing with puppy stuff.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I try to be professional. I mean, I think my brand is very like unprofessional, professional. Like my whole thing is very, she's gross, she's crude, she's, swears like a sailor, and all that stuff. But I put on a really great fucking show, and it's like all part of it's all part of it. Like being that way is part of the character, so.
Right.
And now I'm like, it was a character before, but now they're like the two are merging, and people will like say, "Oh, hi, nice to meet you," and it'll be at something not music related, and I'll be like, "Oh, hi, and I'll start to say Primo, and I'm like, "No, I'm Laura. I'm Primo. Who am I?"
Well, I did have a brief thought earlier on about how much of Primo is in Laura and how much of Laura is in Primo, but it sounds as if it's kind of merging a little bit as time goes by.
Well, I started the project trying to be very much like I was going to be Primo all the time. Like I wasn't going to answer questions as if I'm a human being. I was always going to be Primo. And that may happen. Like if I get bigger, if I'm like big and I want to have some kind of weird, do something like that, maybe I will. But, it was because my mission is like so much about giving a platform and a spotlight on like female producers, and also about women like having such a big voice and being super confident and all those kind of things. I just think it was easier for me to just to be who I am,
Right.
So
right.
yeah, Primo and Laura were like the same, I guess. Pretty much. I'm very crude and gross, and I swear like a sailor. So yeah, it's the same person.
They say most intelligent people swear a lot anyway. That's what I.
Oh well, then
that's my
that makes
excuse.
sense. I have a very high IQ. Yeah.
So, Rock Professor.
Yeah.
So, firstly, and it's interesting now learning a little bit more about when you wrote it, because I suppose from my point of view, I'm always interested in hearing stuff that does sound a bit different, particularly if you're if it's being released within a sphere of stuff that sometimes sounds the same. If you know what I mean? I thought it was really intelligent, really smart, and it was like really fucking impressive in terms of the collection of tunes together. So
thank you.
It's also nice, and I guess you were saying earlier on when you talked about Meatloaf, because it feels like you've taken with that particular EP, the influences are not the kind of synthy influences, if you know what I mean. There's definitely it's quite theatrical, I could say. I don't know whether you would agree with that.
Yeah.
So was it as fun to make it as it is to listen to it?
Yes. I was literally, I'm not exactly crying, laughing. Recording some of it, there's a part on Rock Professor where I go, "Here I fucking go." That line, I would like have to stop. I would start laughing every time because it's so ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. With that one, I tried to be also a little bit ridiculous with the top is like super silly as well, which is like my Rocky, running up the stairs sort of song. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and it was fun because that's what I love about this project is I can do whatever I want, and I had people telling me, they were like, this song doesn't, this is crazy when I was going to put it, like, this is what is this? People say stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I forgot. I don't care what you think. I'm definitely putting it out. I don't even know why I've engaged certain opinions on things because I know what I'm going to do. Like I was like, I'm going to put this song out for sure. It's too fucking fun. It's too killer. Like, first of all, my vocals are totally rad on it. The production is nar. And it's like true. Like as funny as it of a song as it is, it comes from a really truthful place, which is me saying, I may not ever get my due. I may never attain, the level of success I want. I may not get the level of respect that I deserve, but that doesn't change what I am. It doesn't change how good I fucking am. And I'll make you understand it one way or another, sort of thing, So, I don't know. So it's like silly, but it was also like meaningful to me at the same time. And I don't know. That's probably my favorite song on the double EP.
So with that side of it, as in the Rock Professor side of the EP, So would you say that is it a little, because it's quite soundtracky as well? You know, it could
Mm-hmm.
easily be like you were talking about as a kind of 80s movie. Could it be a soundtrack to a Primo autobiography in terms of what the songs are about and how it goes through, or is it how much of you is in the? It sounds like there's quite a lot of you in the lyrics anyway.
Yeah. It's
Mm.
weird because, I write these songs sometimes that are like very tongue in cheek and silly, but they are always also about something serious. I mean, like Watch Me. I don't know like how that's just a silly song, but like Intergalactic Gypsy, the title in and of itself is like, what? But that song is like really serious and it's about, um feeling like restless and always wanting more and looking for something that you don't know what it is you're looking for. And no matter, you could go to fucking outer space, another fucking dimension, and maybe you wouldn't find it. And you'll always no matter what you get, you'll always be part of you will always be incomplete or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's real. Those are real feelings that I feel. And I feel that way about pretty much I don't think there's not a song on this double EP that I don't feel a lot. Like Heart on the Run is the same thing. Like, I'm so lucky to be married to someone who lets me be like unabashedly me, is not embarrassed or like, oh God, because he's a lawyer. I have to go to work functions like this, I have to go like this and be this person in front of people in environments that are not conducive to being this person. And he's never like, oh geez, he just, it's so, that's kind of what it is. It's like, if you want to love me, you have to let me be free, sort of thing.
Sure.
And those are all, I don't know, all that stuff was very personal and meaningful to me. And so, and I think that's the way with most of my songs. So yeah, every song has something to say. So it's none of it's a throwaway, I don't think.
And with the fact that you did sit on it for a while to decide what you want to do, what was
I
the
literally
point?
sat on it.
Literally sat on it.
Like hatched it like a little egg.
See, what was the question?
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good. So when did the decision come to marry the two EPs together in the way that you've done? Because I appreciate that, ultimately it's not really a digital release unless you buy the vinyl of Rock Professor, which is great. I think that's a really smart way of doing it.
Thank you.
But also, but there must have come a time when you thought, you know what, now's the time I can use that and we can bring them both together, because they are both different. So I guess it shows both sides of what you can do, or two sides of what you can do.
So originally it was going to be, the 4 songs that are on Rock Professor. And then I was going to add like Only Human, some of the singles I put out, Number One Alien, Sexual Safari. There were like a few that I was going to put in together to make it an 8-song thing. But, COVID happened. It kind of changed, what some of my releases were going to be. And then by the time it came out to put out that stuff, I was like, Number One Alien's been out way too long. I always think it's, to me, when I see someone put a single, like, I don't know, when it's like a year later and that song's on the album, I'm like, bitch, I've been listening to shit for a year. I don't want that. I wanted like fresh shit. And I thought I wanted to do vinyl. And I thought, I don't want to put this old shit on vinyl. I want this vinyl to be exciting, not just for other people, for me. I don't want to hear some old song I've had out for a year on there. So, that's when I was like, okay, well, let me write a couple to add to Rock Professor. And then I wrote Do It Again, I think was the first one of the new ones I wrote. And this is when I was first going to start working with Taylor. And I said, like, let's work on this one together. And that one was, when I sent it to him, that one was pretty much, the production was there, but it needed some zhuzh. He zhuzhed it and mixed it. And I was like, oh, wait, this is a whole nother thing. This is a whole nother thing. So then I had to go stop. Oh, wait a minute. So the EP was supposed to come out last summer, towards the end of the summer. But by the time Do It Again was written, I was like, no, wait. And I kind of knew instantly. As soon as Do It Again was done, I went, okay, now I have to write 3 more songs that are equally as fucking good, and somehow in a very short amount of time, and make this a double situation and separate these 2 things. And oh my God, I've never, because usually I just do whatever I want. And this one I really felt I need to get this shit out. I need to quit waiting. I want these other 4 out. I need to write 3 really good songs in a really short amount of time. and finish them. And I thunder happened quickly, bad things happened quickly, and I had those 3, and I fucking couldn't write a 4th one. I was like, I mean, I could write one. I wrote a bunch, like, you know, who knows, 20, 30, and every one I was just like, oh, no, no, no. You know, I just couldn't get it. I was so frustrated to the point where I was like I was making myself crazy. Like I would sit down and like keep writing. And people were like, no, you just need to step away for a minute and
Sure.
it'll come to you, you know, do the whole thing. And I'm like, I can't, don't you understand? You know, and I went, it was a stormy day. I went for a walk. My husband was out of town. I had the house to myself. And I love that when I could, because, you know, it's hard to be in here producing because I produce in here in my guest bedroom when someone's sleeping, you know, it's annoying to other human beings who it's like 2 a.m. and you're like fiddle faddling on stuff in here.
Right.
So I could stay up late and I was like, I'm going to sit down at this fucking computer and so I went for a walk and I honestly, this is so embarrassing, but I started crying. I was like, I'm never going to write this fucking song. Like I have writer's block. I'm never going to write a good song again. Blah. And I came inside and I was like, oh, you shouldn't sit down again. And I sat back down and I just hit those dun, 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 those first chords at the beginning. And it just spilled out. I mean, like it was one of those, wrote the whole song in a matter of 10 minutes, you know?
Right.
And I went, oh, like it was just like orgasm. And I don't think that's the question you asked me, but that's the answer you're getting.
That's cool. No, that's all right. That's good.
That's when I knew that they were 2 different things. And I could really lean into the Sounds on Rock Professor and lean into the pop nature of this one without worrying about, oh, they're so different. And I've thought about this a lot since doing this, is that this is how I can maintain. It is confusing if I were to put Rock Professor and those 4 songs on streaming sites.
Mm-hmm.
I consider streaming sites to be like social media. I consider them to be like marketing and ways to get new listeners. That's confusing, you know, those 4 songs when you hear these other. So I, you know, sat with it a long time. And I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get these out in a way that new people aren't like, what the fuck is this, you know? And I realized I just need to put this out for people who know who get what I'm doing. Like people who've heard this before and are like, oh yeah, that makes sense for her. And because of that, because I was feeling kind of sad, like, how am I going to keep doing my weird stuff now that I'm doing this other stuff and getting traction with this other stuff? How am I going to keep doing my weird stuff? And now I'm like, I just put it on a fucking vinyl, put it on Bandcamp only, or do a cassette or whatever. So that makes me feel like, oh, because I've got like a lot of weird ones that is still in the works. Like one is a space line dance, okay, with steps and everything.
Shit, what's the music video going to be like?
Complete with teleportation. That's one of like the moves. It's like teleport to the left. So I want to keep doing stuff like that, and I'm going to keep doing stuff like that. And this was like, to me, proof that there's a way to do that, you know, that's
I think
creatively and monetarily, you know.
I think it's cathartic to get it out as well. Otherwise you're just going to feel like you're not being true to what you want to be. If it's just going to sit there and you're not even going to write it, it's best to at least get it out and then just play around with it, even if it doesn't go any further than that. No, I think it was a great idea, and I think that the first time I'd heard it I was just like, wow, it's so completely different, but also it's got that whole, as I say, I don't really have an area of the 80s that I dislike. I think everything's got its place. It was just nice to see something that had influences from that haven't been explored before now, if you know what I mean. So it was really cool to be able to get it out, I guess, really.
Thank you.
So I had basically 2 more questions, and this one was a bit like, I was thinking about Austin as a place.
Yeah.
And I haven't been. I think it's
going
to. It is a place, which obviously even has a time zone and people. So again, doing my research, I was looking into musicians that have either not necessarily born there, but who have, you know, kind of come from there and maybe been influenced by it. So like, I got them written down. So it's Willie Nelson, Janis Joplin, Dixie Chicks, and then I think there's Stevie Ray Vaughan. But then there's also yourself.
There's statues of Stevie Ray Vaughan all over.
There is, right? Yes, I read about it. But, and of course there's yourself, and I've been speaking quite regularly on other things with Yate as well. Is there it feels like Austin is a hub for, is there like a creative hub in Austin? Because it definitely feels like it's something which has historically been the case, and certainly is continuing to drip through. Like, is it a creative place to live? Do you feel inspired living
Yes.
there?
So like in the United States, people know Austin as the live music capital of the world.
Okay.
It's a big music city. It's like the whole tourism attraction here is like being outside and music. So pretty much everywhere you go, there's music. You know, like every town that has a name like that, the live music capital world comes some disappointments in the sense that I think our live music scene was becoming shitty in the sense that venues were taking advantage, you know, venues just weren't paying venues or being shitty. But I think with COVID, a lot of stuff has changed. And I've noticed like such a wave of musicians who are like, I know for me anyway, I think part of it has to do with me becoming more successful through COVID somehow. Like, I mean, I think when we started COVID, I was like, you know, I had barely any monthly listeners and now it's so much more. I made the decision that I'm not going to play. Like I already have told, like people have asked me, you know, do you want to play this place? And I've said, I will play at it for this amount of money. And I will never play another show without a full sound check before I play. I'm not doing a line check 10 minutes before I get on stage. So I think venues are starting to realize that people are not going to tolerate this like shit anymore. I'm not going to be paid with a suggested donation at the door. Like that's done.
Yeah, right.
That's not how you operate a business with, oh, maybe you'll get paid because someone decided that maybe they would give $5 when they walked in. Like, I'm not doing that. And a lot of other artists are doing that. So I think it's going to become even better, but it is a music city. It is a creative city. It's like a lot of tech companies are moving here. A lot of, you know, young people are here. It's everywhere is dog friendly. Everywhere is outdoor seating and the weather is nice all the time. And, you know, it's a really awesome city to be in.
Cool.
So.
Excellent. And with the, because I know obviously you've put out there recently that the live scene like you say, you've done a few gigs that have popped up post COVID. So it sounds as if things are picking up certainly at your end. I guess in the UK, we find out next week basically if we can start doing gigs.
We all
again.
have that new variant really going wild over there.
We do.
Right?
Well, it's kind of going wild, but at the same time, the vaccination, the extent to which we've all been vaccinated is kind of keeping the death side of it down. But
y'all have
we'll
more
know.
sense than we do, so we'll have it soon enough, and half the people here won't get the fucking vaccine, so we'll have to go back inside again. And I swear to God, I'm gonna fucking lose it. I'm like so livid about it. I made a post last night that was like so angry. I was just like, fuck, just get the fucking vaccine, because I'm tired of being held hostage by idiots. Like just because you're a stupid idiot, now the rest of us are gonna have to go back in our fucking houses again. It makes me so mad because especially musicians, we did what we were supposed to do. We didn't play shows for like a year and a half.
Right.
We didn't do anything, you know? So, and now we finally are going to get out again. And then these idiots are going to blow up for us. I swear to God.
The people here that are getting really sick with it or have died with it are people who have either had one of the jabs or have had none of them and were entitled to get it. So that in itself says a lot for the process, and I think it is. There will definitely be more of a backlash here if we have to all go back home and we can't sit in the bar or we can't do the things we kind of want to do, or at least see our friends. Geez, but I think what's great is that there is stuff going on for you in terms of the live stuff, and it is building again. So what's the ambition 2023? Is there, would you like to do a bit of overseas stuff? Is, you know,
2023, 2022?
Sorry, 2022. That's the one, 2022. Yeah, would you like to do some overseas stuff? Would you like to, you know, move around a bit?
Yes, I want to open for someone big on tour. I want someone to take me on tour. You know, I want one of the big boys, the big girls to take me. So, but either way, I mean, if they don't take me, then I'll go on my own. But I'm definitely going to come. I mean, I'll definitely tour your, like, that's where all my listeners are, you know,
right.
Like also Moscow, fucking those Russians are staying
Russians love it.
It's crazy. So I got to go to Moscow. But no, I'm definitely going to travel to play shows. And, so 2022 for me, I would love to be opening for someone on tour. That's my ultimate, that's like my big push right now. And everyone who is in the know knows that, because I've reached
Right.
out to every single person and been like, take me on fucking tour.
Right.
So we'll see.
And that's good, because
If
I
you're
wouldn't.
listening, take me on tour.
Well, I wouldn't say that that's, I don't consider that to be a stretch target either. That's probably quite a realistic one. But then again, it's just the world as it is right now. It
Right.
feels so impossible already. But
Mhm.
I think that if we were all to settle down again and everything was to open, I don't think that'd be a particularly stretched target. But it'd be interesting.
Also, you don't want someone who's too good to open for you.
There you go, right?
But that really is true. I mean, that really is true. You don't want people to blow their wads before you get on the stage.
Great.
So I think if I did it, it would need to be like me by myself, maybe not a full band, and just, just fluff everybody.
Fluff
Fluff 'em
everybody.
and then let Tyler and Tim take it from there.
Yeah, they can finish them off. That's fine.
Yeah.
Good show. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I thought,
Thank you for having me.
No, of course. I've been trying to organize something for a while. My day job is crazy, so getting stuff done is not always easy. But I wanted you just to get a few minutes just to throw out your socials and stuff like that, where people can find stuff, where people can order the vinyl, that sort of thing.
Yes. Okay. So vinyl can be ordered on Bandcamp, primothealien.bandcamp.com. I also have a website, primothealien.com. You can find me. And if you just go to those sites, you'll find my Spotify, all that stuff is on my website. You go to my website, you can find my Spotify, my Apple Music, and Bandcamp, all that stuff there. And just stay tuned, new stuff is coming your way with the vinyl. And I'm just going to say this one more time. So, because people are really having a hard time with this concept. Half of the EP, the one side is the pop side, one side's the rock side. The rock side is vinyl exclusive. Okay. The reason the digital album is priced at $1,000 US is not because I expect someone to pay $1,000 US for the digital album. It's because it's vinyl exclusive to get that double EP as one chunk of songs.
Right.
Unfortunately for Bandcamp, you cannot have like a digital, like it comes like if you get vinyl, you get this digital thing with it, unless you put it up available for sale. It can't be like something unavailable for sale. They won't let you do it that way. If I could, it would be great. So the $1,000 is not an error. I know about it. And it's to make sure that people are buying the vinyl in order to get the digital copies.
So you've had people DMing you saying,
do
you want to check it out? Because you obviously meant $10 or something.
Yes. Like, there's an error on your site. There's an error. I've got that so many times. I've also had people that were like incredulous. Like, you don't really think someone's going to spend $1,000, do you? I'm like, Jesus, no, I don't. But never say never. Weirder things have happened.
I was going to say, I assume no one has, but did anyone? Has anyone picked it up for $1,000?
I've had people buy something from me for like $300 that was worth $10.
Sure.
So it's definitely not that crazy. Some people like to donate money, and support. So, but no, I'm not expecting to sell it for $1,000, and it's been up now for a week, so it wasn't an error either. It's fine. It's just hard to explain, like have to keep explaining it. I'm like, no, the vinyl is $1,000. It's $1,000 because the vinyl and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, please just go look at it, because it says it on there. It says it right underneath.
I'll send you a copy of the last minute and a half of this, and you can just send that to people as a response when they DM you. Just say, just listen to that.
This is my official statement.
Exactly right. Primo, thank you. It's awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Really looking forward to my copy of the vinyl arriving in the in the post. I'll let you know.
It was so nice of you.
Of course. All right. Catch you soon.
Yeah. Thank you.